My wife told me she had another late-night work event. But the black Mercedes waiting outside and the messages on her laptop told a very different
Vanessa
story.
stepped out of the house, dressed for another one of her late-night work events. She moved with this air of confidence, like she didn't care at all whether I questioned her or not. Standing in front of the mirror, she applied her favorite red lipstick, the one she always wore when she wanted to command attention. Her voice had that clipped, professional tone she always used when she was hiding something. "Don't wait up for me," she said, and for some reason those words hit me harder than they should have. My eyes drifted to her expensive new purse, a designer bag she'd never even mentioned wanting. Then I saw the black Mercedes waiting outside, far too luxurious to belong to one of her coworkers. I tried asking a few harmless questions, just trying to make conversation, but she brushed every single one aside. "It's just networking," she insisted, but her excuses were starting to sound like rehearsed lines from a script. With the sharp, rhythmic clicking of her heels echoing through the quiet house, she was gone. After the door closed, I just stood there in our bedroom, staring at the empty space where she'd been standing just moments before. Something felt deeply wrong, a knot of tension in my gut that refused to go away. Little patterns had been forming for weeks, maybe even months, and I couldn't pretend they were just coincidences anymore. She was always working late on the same nights of the week. She always came home looking disheveled, but not in a tired-from-work way. And she always carried the faint scent of an expensive cologne that definitely wasn't mine. The credit card statements started telling their own story hotel charges on nights she claimed she was pulling all-nighters at the office. The signs were everywhere, glaring at me, but the final, undeniable proof came when she forgot to shut her laptop. I saw it sitting open on the desk, and something pulled me toward it. I saw the messages she never, ever intended for me to find. I saw plans for nights she swore were business meetings. I saw exchanges with her CEO that made my stomach physically churn. Her replies were filled with this eagerness, this coded flirtation that was impossible to misinterpret. There was a level of comfort between them that went far, far beyond any professional relationship. My heart sank as I realized she wasn't just cheating on me. She was part of something bigger, something more organized that involved multiple people within her company. Every email I read made my chest grow tighter. Every line revealed a version of my wife I didn't even recognize. My hands were shaking. I didn't trust myself to handle what I had just discovered. I had to call my friend Jake. He's a former detective, now a private investigator, and he's always been the most blunt, steady person I know. He's a master at uncovering the truth. I sent him screenshots of everything I'd found. His reply was immediate, serious, like an old soldier stepping back onto the battlefield. We met at a dimly lit bar, the kind of place far removed from the polished, upscale spots Vanessa loved. I laid it all out for him, every detail, every suspicion. I watched his expression shift from concern to professional focus as he started piecing it all together. He looked at me and said this wasn't just a simple, casual affair. We were looking at a coordinated pattern. He explained that Vanessa and several of her coworkers were part of an elaborate scheme. They were using personal, intimate relationships to secure major business deals for their CEO. Promotions, huge bonuses, brand new accounts. It was all tied to their participation. This wasn't just infidelity. It was corporate misconduct, buried under layers and layers of secrecy and lies. Jake agreed to take the case, but he warned me it would take time and a massive amount of emotional discipline. "You have to act normal," he said. "Around her, you have to be the loving husband until we have enough evidence to bring this whole thing down." When Vanessa came home that night, it was nearly 1 in the morning. She looked like she had been through much more than just a boring meeting. She repeated her usual lies about clients and contracts, and I played my part. I pretended to believe every word. She kissed me like nothing was wrong, completely unaware that the walls she had built around her secrets were starting to crack. Over the next several days, Jake was a shadow. He tracked her movements, documented her visits to the same hotel, and managed to plant listening devices. He recorded conversations that confirmed the entire scheme. Her voice was unmistakable as she discussed bonuses that were directly tied to her inappropriate relationships with clients. She spoke about our marriage, about me, as if my feelings were just a minor inconvenience in her climb up the corporate ladder. The audio was sickening. I heard her and her colleagues joking about it all. They laughed about clients, about the promotions they were getting, about the roles they each played. Then the conversation turned to me. I heard Vanessa admit that I was starting to notice things, that I was asking too many questions. Her coworkers calmly suggested ways to discredit me, to make me look unstable if I tried to expose them. Hearing them strategize how to destroy my reputation, my life, made something inside me harden. The sadness turned to resolve. Jake kept digging, gathering more and more evidence until the case was airtight, impossible to ignore. He uncovered the financial side of their operation, fraudulent contracts, money laundering, a whole web of corruption that was far darker than I could have imagined. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was criminal. We made a plan. The company's annual shareholder meeting was coming up. It was a huge public event with media, investors, everyone would be there. It was the perfect stage. Jake prepared everything, the audio files, the financial documents, the surveillance photos, and I prepared myself to confront the woman I thought I knew. On the day of the meeting, I walked into that grand ballroom wearing the suit Vanessa always said she hated. She was sitting in the front row, looking so polished and proud, completely oblivious to the storm that was about to break. Her CEO stood at the podium, praising her, celebrating her for securing millions in new contracts. That was my cue. I stood up. "That's not the whole story," I called out. The room filled with confused murmurs. But before anyone could react, Jake hit play. Their own voices filled the ballroom. The recordings echoed through the silent, stunned crowd. Gasps rippled through the room as their words exposed the entire scheme. People pulled out their phones, frantically recording. The executives on stage froze, their faces a mixture of shock and horror. I looked at Vanessa. All the color drained from her face. Before security could even get to me, federal agents entered the room. Jake had shared all the evidence with them in advance. The CEO was the first to be arrested. Then they moved down the line, cuffing several others. When they got to Vanessa, she started screaming at me, furious that I had shattered her carefully constructed world. "I just revealed what you tried so hard to hide," I told her, my voice steady. She was escorted out in handcuffs, still shouting that I didn't understand, that I had no idea what she'd sacrificed. In the aftermath, the company imploded. It was a massive scandal. Investigations, charges, and a media frenzy followed. I watched it all from a distance, watching as the truth unraveled everything she had chased so desperately. I didn't feel proud of the destruction I had caused, but I did feel an overwhelming sense of relief. I was no longer trapped in her web of lies. My life slowly began to shift into something new, something quieter, something honest. And even though the story wasn't completely over, I finally felt that immense weight lifting from my shoulders, leaving behind an open space for whatever was supposed to come next. Thanks for listening. Follow for more stories.